Well, welcome to the final hour of Millsy at midday for a Monday. I'm looking forward to this. 133-882. What we're going, if you'd like to join in, the reason why I'm stimulated is by an article that was in The Economist by the science and technology correspondents, and it's being reprinted today in The Australian. And I'd encourage you to have a look at it. Now, this stuff is being developed as we speak. It's not pie in the sky. We're not making it up. And here's a list of things that are currently at the forefront, if you like, of development. Hydrogen-powered plants. Planes, I should say, which means that we'll be flying around on hydrogen-powered planes. So it generates its own electricity, which means it doesn't need fuel. So it helps the ozone layer and all that kind of stuff. Vertical farming, which is in existence. Ships with sails, delivering drones. So in other words, drones that deliver your fast food rather than the Uber driver getting lost and ringing up, so where are you?
Yeah.
Wherever that might be. We also have the situation where you have flying electric taxis being developed, which I find quite remarkable. 3D printed houses. Now, I've got a guest to help me out here because the other one is the advancement in quantum computing, which I have no understanding of. I understand what computers are and quantum computing. Eamon Darcy, who is with Quantum Education Centre of WA, he, in fact, is the founder. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Millsy.
Now, I want to get into quantum computing and what it means in a moment. We've got people joining in. I'll get you to join in as well. What do you think is going to happen in the next 12 months in the area of quantum computing, because so much is happening in that area, and I don't think most people understand what it means. Eamon Darcy, is quantum computing got a role here? Good afternoon.
Quantum computing has a huge role here. Can I give my prediction?
Yeah, go.
Quantum teleportation.
Sorry?
Quantum teleportation. So actually teleporting or transporting a subatomic particle from the Earth to an orbiting spaceship. How many years do you think that is away?
I don't know. 100?
Yeah, we did it 5 years ago.
Really?
It's already been done by the Chinese.
What does that mean?
It means an awful lot.
No, but what does it actually mean in English?
Okay, there was a photon is a unit of light.
Right.
So they had a photon in a laboratory in Tibet. And what they did was a photon is made of, it doesn't have length, breadth, height, or width, or depth. It only has one thing called spin. And it's measured in complex amplitudes. You don't need to know that, but it's then basically through a process called quantum entanglement, it actually immediately, instantaneously transported it to the spaceship instantly.
So you're saying that in the future, using quantum physics and quantum computing, I personally could be transported from here to London?
Yeah, that is an awful long way away. But the answer to it is yes.
Really?
Yeah, the quantum computers we have at the moment roughly have 53 to 127 qubits that you were just talking about. When we have 300 qubits, we'll be able to reference to every atom in the observable universe.
Right.
Think about that. So it's unbelievable.
We think digital technology is unbelievable. Yes. This surpasses digital like you wouldn't believe.
It leaves it absolutely for dead. The fastest super digital computer in the world works at the speed of light. It basically does 200 quadrillion operations a second.
Right.
Now, that's two with 17 zeros behind it.
Right, and quantum computing?
And quantum computer in China actually did a process which was 2 trillion times quicker than the classical digital computer could do it.
Say that again?
Yes.
How fast?
Well, it was that computer I mentioned, the digital one, that's 200 quadrillion operations a second. Something that would have taken it half the evolution of the solar system to work out was done in 3 minutes by a quantum computer from China.
Right. Now, we didn't understand it when computers were being developed, so I don't expect people will understand what quantum computing are doing, other than the fact it seems that every government that's in power, like the superpowers, are right into this, including us. How much money are we spending in this area?
I'm not sure. I tell you what, there'd be an awful lot being spent that we don't know about. But I think the latest was, I think I'm right in saying 15 million or 150 million from, this is last week, was an announcement last week.
Right, okay. We'll talk about a bit more about quantum physics and computing and that in a moment. Now, John wants to talk about quantum computing. One of your types, Eamon. Good afternoon, John.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Beam me up, Scotty. Does that mean anything to anyone?
Yes.
So is that where we're headed?
Yeah, it is where we're headed. We are, I hasten to add, a long, long way from that, because the thing is, quantum computing and quantum physics only operates at a subatomic level. So as soon as it goes macro, and we're not sure what that dividing line is exactly, but the bigger it gets, the less we, less we observe it. That's why we don't observe it in our normal everyday life. We live in a classical world.
John, do you subscribe to all this stuff?
Well, yeah, but how long till Scotty gets beamed up? That's what.
Right. How long's a piece of string? Can you put a timeline on it?
Oh, no, you couldn't. It'd be ridiculous to try and do that. I would say it's a long way. But one thing I would say is that things happen in the quantum computing world far quicker than is expected. I can remember only 10 years ago, people were saying a quantum computer would never, ever be made, because we're talking a subatomic particle here. And it's exceptionally fragile. It interacts with the environment and collapses.
Okay. Good luck if you're working this out. I mean, I'm still trying to get my head around it. But, hey, we need to kind of educate ourselves in an area that's going to be bigger and bigger. 133 882. My guest, Eamon Darcy, Quantum Education Centre of WA founder. It's 17 past 2. 21 past 2, we're asking you, we're going to replay this in a year's time, what's going to happen in the next 12 months? Because we've got Eamon Darcy, Quantum Education Centre of WA founder, in the studio. You've been telling me off air that you're writing courses for the Americans and the English.
Yes, I've written a course for a school in London for 12 to 15-year-olds. They've just finished their first course. So I wrote it and delivered it. And it was a 12-week course. And they've just done a presentation, which is on my YouTube channel. And young people here should look at that, because these guys knew nothing 12 weeks ago, and now they know everything.
Now, when people hear you talk and you're talking about transporting yourself, beaming up Scotty, do people think you're crazy?
Yeah, people do. Teleportation is a long way away, but the things that are happening now, people cannot believe.
Right. So you're saying we're made up, each individual is made up by some of this stuff?
That's a very good point. We are. The fabric of the universe is not atomic. An atom is what we call an emergent property. Somehow these subatomic particles, of which there are many, electrons, photons, muons, taions, we could go on forever, they've joined forces, if you like, to give us the atomic world which we see and feel. But that's not the real world.
Right.
The real world is subatomic, and it's very weird. I could take 2 of your subatomic particles out of your body, entangle them. I could put one on the moon and one here, and we're talking about a million times smaller than a speck of dust.
Right.
And as soon as I move the one on Earth, the one on the moon moves.
Crazy stuff.
No one knows how Einstein was no one knows. No. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance.
Is that what he called it?
Yeah, that's a very famous quote by him. But it's unbelievable. You tell me, how does the one on the moon know that something a billion? Yeah.
I don't know. Who created it all, though?
Well, it's not creating. It's nature.
No, but who created it? If you had to have all this stuff, someone created it. This is the argument about creation and all the stuff that goes with it.
Yes, that's and it's yes.
You don't want to go there.
No.
All right, let's get back to our listeners and see what they want to predict for the next 12 months. Les, good afternoon.
Hi, Millsy. Hey, your guest, whatever he's taking like drugs, can we get it next year? Because
he's a professional,
that's what it sounds
mate.
like.
He's very well qualified. He's no nutter. State your credentials, Eamon.
Oh, I have a master's degree from Murdoch University. I've done every quantum computing course there is throughout the world, including St. Petersburg in Russia. And
I think he's a bit better qualified than us, Les, to be quite honest. Being right on that. You were quite excited about the vaccine prediction. Why?
Yes, thank you, Millsy. I was. All vaccines start off as a computer simulation, because they look at the electron of the ligand and the electron of the virus, and it's all about exchange of electrons. That's how you work it out. But our current computers can't and never will be able to simulate it. So when we do our vaccines, they're not perfect. Now, when we do our vaccine, it's like saying, what did you think of the movie? And you watch the first 20 seconds. We can't keep up with it. But a quantum computer can, because nature is quantum. So quantum simulates exponentially. And Millsy, I'll ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
If we had a table with 10 people around the table,
Yep.
how many place settings can you have? How many different place settings do you think you can have?
Oh, is it 10 by 9 by 8?
Yes, it is. It's the
Right. By
the
7 by
factorial
6, yeah.
10. It's 3.6 million.
Combinations.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's because it's exponential, whereas humans deal
You
with.
know why I know that? Because that's the same
'Cause you're
way.
clever.
No, it's the way you work out your trifecta combination.
Well, simulating a horse race will be able to do exactly.
We need
with
to
the
talk.
quantum-
If you can start predicting winners, mate, you're worth a fortune. Bugger about travelling into the future. Let's get into it now. Thanks for your contribution. We're asking you, what do you think will happen in the next 12 months? Peter, good afternoon.
Yes. I just want to put a question to the professor. I believe Albert Einstein had a theory that it was possible to go back into time, providing you didn't change any events. Now, I'm just wondering, what is the reason for this, and is it possible that maybe one day you will be able to go back into time? Just
All right.
interested in his answer.
All right, good question, Eamon. It's a bit like Time Tunnel, where they used to put them in the tunnel and they transport them back in time. And
I'm old enough to remember that.
yeah. So, what is the answer to that?
Well,
Was
the answer
Einstein
is
correct.
Yeah. Well, look, the reality is we have quantum physics and classical or Newtonian physics. In classical or Newtonian physics, we probably can't, but in the quantum world, we've already done it. There's an experiment called the Delayed Choice Quantum Eraser experiment that was done in 1999. It shows that events that have already occurred can be altered, or something similar is happening that we don't understand. I might add, we don't understand quantum physics. It's quite possible within 5-10 years, our whole society, our traffic optimization, everything will be on computers that operate in a way we fundamentally don't
I
understand.
Are you saying any particular part of the world is well and truly advanced in front of anyone else? Could you say the Chinese are well down this track? The Americans, who's the leader?
China is by far the leader. They're doing amazing things. I may say that they're broadcasting what they're doing. Obviously, we don't understand the full secrets that are happening. America has actually just blacklisted quantum technology, Chinese quantum technology, because and one of the other things, there's so many things. The first time ever in society, we will have 100% encryption, an unhackable code. We've never had that before.
We need to get you back so we can demystify this a bit more and educate us, because if it is the future, which I think you're right, based on the amount of money being pursued around the world on it. What about this one? Eamon, you like this? This is off our SMS. I think that'll be a thing of the past. 0487 999 882. It'll just be read by everybody in their brains. Millsy, when the steam trains arrived in England, no one would ride on the steam train because the steam train went too fast at 30 miles per hour. And that's probably a fact, and we have to get used to things travelling very quickly. Quite amazing. Thanks for coming in. If people want to study quantum and quantum, what is it called? Not quantum physics or quantum?
Quantum computing.
Right.
Quantum computing is the implementation of quantum physics to do computations.
Right, okay. So you run the Quantum Education Centre of WA. So if people would like to find out more, check it out on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, they can check it out on the YouTube channel. I'm holding 2 workshops over the Christmas break.
Right.
One for 12 to 15-year-olds and one for everybody else.
Okay. All right, good on you. Good. Thanks for bringing your time at short notice. Much appreciated. Eamon Darcy, I reckon we'll get him back in. Very fascinating man.